What's going on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Today we are joined by a special guest that hasn't been on my channel in a very long time, too long to be exact. We got Chris back on the comms. Chris, how you doing?
Well, Josh, there's no better way to spend your day than talking hockey with your brother from far, far away.
What was that? Okay, he said he had a line for me. I don't know what that was. Anyway, we're here to talk about Hockey Ultimate Team and kind of the rewards for it compared to another similar sports game in FIFA or football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be comparing and contrasting the two rewards from each game. So, Chris, I guess the biggest question is, have you packed anything good this year?
In regular packs, I mean, I've packed a fair amount of stuff, but nothing insane. I mean, my two craziest pulls, I mean, I did the Team of the Season set and got a Matthews, which ended up being the most expensive one, so I got really lucky there, and sold that at the time. And then the only other like really insane crazy pull that I've gotten this year was the 95 flashback line A, but even that, again, I got insanely lucky, and that was out of a World of Chell pack. So from normal rewards, no.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the best thing I've gotten was a 92, what was it, Hut Champs Pareko or something. And other than that, I haven't packed a thing all year long. So this is kind of the big kind of reason for this video. Is we wanted to see the different takes from each individual game. So I guess we'll start off with the game modes, the ones you can play. So myself, I'm a little bit more familiar with FIFA. Chris, I guess we're both familiar with NHL, but I guess you can tackle the NHL ones. So what game modes do we have in NHL Hockey Ultimate Team?
We counted 6 modes in HUT this year. Draft Champions, which I wouldn't hate if they removed next year. It's honestly irrelevant at this point. Squad Battles, which, as you know, if you've played NHL, is exclusively offline, but that's good because it gives the offline grinders something to do throughout the year. You have Online Seasons, which, again, as we know, is an absolute snooze fest. Whether you're playing in Div 10 or Div 1, it doesn't matter. The rewards are just not worth it, honestly. Even if you sweep through the division, they're just not great. As we know, Comp Seasons recently made a return to the game after being MIA for a few months. But again, the rewards, at least for these past couple Comp Seasons, have just not been great. I mean, they set it up for a maximum of 20 games, just like HUT Champs. But man, even playing 5 games, if you were to be ranked #1, is a stretch at this point to say it's worth it. As we know, the most competitive game mode, in my opinion, you tend to sweat the most in Rivals, and obviously that's how you qualify for HUT Champs. And then obviously the penultimate tournament, HUT Champions itself, which is a fantastic weekend tournament to round it up for Hockey Ultimate Team.
Yeah, so 6 total game modes, right? You have a lot to play, but not necessarily all of them get played. Like you said, Draft Champions, kind of irrelevant at this point. Online Seasons, you said it's a snooze fest. I am so bored playing it. And then you have Squad Battles offline, and the other 3, you kind of play a bunch, but not necessarily. There's kind of those 2 main game modes that people play. HUT Rivals, HUT Champs. That's kind of the main 2 that you play that have the most rewards. Well, looking at FIFA now, you have kind of the same thing. You have Division Rivals, so it's kind of the same thing. You have FUT Champs, kind of the same thing as NHL. You have Squad Battles, which is similar, same thing, offline grinding mode. And then you have Draft Champions. It's actually called Online Draft. It's the same exact thing as Draft Champions. So you can play that CPU against the CPU or online. So a couple less options, but still you have those 2 main game modes that people play that are always going to be that most competitive games where you have that one extra step in being FUT Champs or HUT Champs. But you look at the rewards, right? We have some of them pulled up on both of our screens. Looking at FIFA, there's a lot of times where you get coins and you get a bunch of packs. But then in NHL, Chris, what do you get?
Well, in Hut Champs, you don't get any coins, essentially. You get your, however, whatever the overall player is. So we have down here for rank number 1 in the most recent Hut Champs, you could get a 96 overall player. I believe it was Joe Thornton this week. And that's a good step because I looked at the first Hut Champs, it was an 88 TJ Oshie. So while the player itself might be in question sometimes, I know we mentioned that there was like Colin White. I know there was a ton of left defensemen earlier in the year that people were kind of complaining about as far as being redundant. But so rank 1, you get the 96 overall player, and then that scales down for a few different ranks. And then you get 4 ultimate packs, which we kind of did some math here. So you get 20 items, all 80 plus in the 4 ultimate packs. So you have 80 total player items, and we figure those packs are either 75 or 100k. I couldn't quite remember. So you have 300 to 400k worth of packs, but you could get nothing in those packs, and then all you have is a 96 overall untradeable player, which at this point in the year, yes, it's going to make 95% of the teams that play, but number 1 overall, a lot of guys have insane teams, and obviously making it one set player, you can't ever please anybody. But a 96 overall at this point for most top players' teams, I should say, is probably middle 6 at best. I don't think a 96 makes any top players top line unless it's a player they love. So if you pull nothing in those packs, you only got the 1 player, and then obviously you get the 2,000 Hut Champs points, which qualifies you for next week. But like you mentioned, Josh, that's very different from what you get in FIFA.
Yeah, looking at FIFA, FUT Champs, number 1 rank. So you heard Hockey Ultimate Team, right? You heard that from Chris. Now listen to this one. For FUT Champs, rank number 1, you get 250,000 coins immediately, which is absolutely insane. Then you get a Team of the Season so far pack, which is basically a Team of the Season pack, but since the season's not over yet, that they haven't really released a Team of the Season. But then also you get 4 Jumbo Rare Players pack, which I believe if we did the math correctly, I think you said it was 96 players, which are 100k packs. So you get a little bit more players out of it. Plus, you get a 5-player pick special items untradeable pack, which I think is just the 5 players. I don't know why they call it a pack, but the 5 special player pick items. Plus, then you get the 2,000 FUT Champs points. Now, that sounds like a ton compared to when you hear Hut. But again, you have the packs, which are always in question, that you never know what you're going to get. Now, I know we weren't really going to mention this, but in FIFA, now I know this is an NHL video that we're covering NHL, but in FIFA, some of the top players in the game, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Those are the 2 kind of big name players at the top, superstar players, like your McDavid and Crosby, just say. Ronaldo, 93 overall, base card. Messi, 94 overall base card. 2 best players in the game. When you look at NHL, you give McDavid 87 overall. Sidney Crosby, 87 overall. So, a little bit of lower overalls, but they still get more cards later on.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, obviously, like we talked about before the video, like there's different reasons and stuff for the overall systems being so different. But, as they progress throughout the year, like I said, with that Hut Champs rank versus FUT Champs, so FUT you get the Team of the Season player, so it's going to be, a Team of the Season player is going to be a notable player, which is something I didn't think about before. That's going to be a notable player. That's going to be a player that's done insanely well during that season. So it's going to be a relevant and topical player. And then you look at the Hut Champs guys. This week, I think it was Joe Thornton, so that's obviously a fantastic player, and it's a notable name that anyone in the NHL community should know, whether you're 13 or 63, honestly, because he's been playing for so long. But as I mentioned earlier, there was guys like Colin White. I think Ilya Mikheyev had a card this year, a depth forward for the Maple Leafs. Like, outside of Toronto, you're not going to know who that player is. And guess what? These players are untradeable. I don't know if they're tradable or untradeable in FIFA, but if you don't like the Leafs and you don't care about an Ilya Mikheyev card, you got top 20 in Hut Champs for nothing. Imagine your best pull in your 4 Ultimate Packs is a base Ovechkin, because we've all been teased by those purple animations 100 times. So imagine your best pull is a base Ovechkin, and halfway through the year you're getting 91 Ilya Mikheyev. You know, at the end of the year, that card is beyond irrelevant. Sure, it may have been good for a month, to fill out a spot on your team, but like I said, unless you're a Toronto guy, you're not going to give a crap about that Ilya Mikheyev card. And what's it going to do later in the year? Sit in your collection and collect dust, because there's nothing you can do with it, which is a completely other topic we're not going to get into in this video.
I'm really glad you told me who that was, because honestly, no idea. But looking on to the ranks, right? You have the top 100 for FIFA, you have the top 100 for NHL. Then after that, NHL features what kind of system, Chris?
NHL does tiered systems based on the rank you finish. So outside of top 100, there's no cool name like Diamond 6. It's just 101 to 200, and you finish in those tiers based off of your rank. Sure, it's easy to remember, if you look at the leaderboards, okay, I finished 150th, so that's 101 to 200. But it'd be a lot more fun to say some cool names like there are in FIFA.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, if you finish 150, you get Elite 1 in FIFA. So there's a couple different names, right? You have Elite 1 through 3, Gold 1 through 3, Silver 1 through 3, Bronze 1 through 3. And you have that title, right? You were like, okay, I hit Gold 3 this week, or Elite 1, or whatever you are, right? Top 100, 30-0 is another big term in FIFA. But with NHL, you just get the number 150. That's all you get. 150. Not Elite 1, not Elite 2, Elite 3, whatever it is. 150. So that's another thing that you can't really play for. Because, what's 150 to anyone? That's nothing. You need some kind of ranking system that is a little bit different than this, so you can say, hey, tell all your friends, hey, I got Elite 1 this week. What did you get? Oh, you got Bronze 3? You're trash. Right? So, something to that effect, right? If I'm comparing my team to my brother's team here, he's got a better team than I, but I might finish higher than him. So I could be like, oh yeah, I hit... What?
Maybe. You might.
I might, sure. But, if I hit Elite 2 and he's right behind me at Elite 3, and you know what I mean? You want to have that title as your rank. Now, the big thing in FIFA, too, is there's not really those, after the top 100, there's not 101 through 200, or 201 through 300. Right? There's the Elite 1, Elite 2, Elite 3, and then it goes down from there. But the big thing is, it's basically ranked as wins. So, Elite 1, I believe I saw, was 27 wins out of 30 games, which is insane. Which also, we were talking before the video, what if not enough people get into, that 30-0 range? Well, okay, then you have the 29-win people, and then if there's not enough of those people, then it's 28 wins. So that might change throughout the year. So one week, it might be 25 wins to get an Elite 1, whereas the next week, it might be 27, 26, 28, and maybe even some weeks it could be 29, right? It all depends on how everyone's playing that week, which we don't really see in NHL.
Yeah, NHL is a lot different. Obviously, just to mention really quick, we were looking up some numbers earlier, and we figure that, Josh and I are both on Xbox. It shows that in the NHL, in the world table that you can find on the Stats Central page, on Xbox, there are about 350,000 people who have made a Hockey Ultimate Team on Xbox. So you figure it's probably about the same for PlayStation, obviously, give or take. But we saw that there are just about 1.5 million, is our estimate, players that play NHL 20, and that's compared to 7.5 million that play FIFA. So NHL has about 20% of the player base. So to compare FUT Champs and Hut Champs, which is, kind of the easiest comparison we have to make, Hut Champs, you can play a maximum of 20 games, and as you heard Josh say, in FUT Champs, you can play a maximum of 30, we also found out that it probably takes about the same amount of time to complete the maximum amount of games, which I found pretty interesting. But as Josh was saying, for the rewards, there are different tiers. You look at the guys, like he said, you need 27 wins to reach Elite 1 out of 30. And that's like insanely good. You're talking top 200 as an equivalent for Hockey Ultimate Team. Now, if you look at the leaderboards for Hut Champs, you can see that most weeks there are going to be at least 2 or 3 guys with 14 wins sneaking into the top 100. And obviously, like we said, that's out of 20 games. So 14 wins out of 20 games can get you top 100 in NHL, as opposed to 28 probably wins out of 30 getting top 100 in FIFA. So, like we said, to note the player base, obviously that's going to tell the tale with the different rankings and whatnot. But it's interesting to see that even though NHL has a less player base, they actually have more tiers for rewards. Now, if you play both games, the kind of equivalent we made was that Bronze 3 in FIFA, going specifically like across the rankings for rewards, would be 1501 to 1750 as your ranking for NHL. So there are 2 rankings beyond that in Hut Champs that FIFA doesn't have an equivalent for, which I also found interesting, which kind of tried to lead us into a newer way to rank players for the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, trying to come up with a way where everyone could be ranked fairly and everything could be this perfect world of what could be this perfect system be to make these rankings, you know, worth playing for. Well, it's a video game, right? None of this is going to equate to real money unless you're a pro player and then you get paid by an organization and you make some tournament or whatever. But if you're just the average, casual, competitive player that plays and tries to get 30-0 in FIFA or tries to get 20-0 in NHL and be that number 1 rank or top 10 or whatever you go for in these weekends, you're not always going to get there, right? You may think you're a really good player. One week you can get that number 1 overall. The next time you could be, just say, down in the 200s, 300s in NHL, Elite 3 in FIFA, Gold 1, whatever it may be. And some weeks it may not be your week. Some weeks you may change up your team and you play a little bit different, makes you play a little bit worse. So trying to find that perfect way to rank these players and rank your teams that, you know, there's so many different ways that, you know, we thought about before the video that you could try to make it this way or that way. It's just so hard in the end to really, to narrow it down to one good way to have, you know, the Elite 1 be, okay, 101 through 200. So it all depends on how much you play, too. That's another big thing, is if you want to sit there and grind the entire weekend compared to only play, you know, like half your games, then that's another big thing. But, like, I couldn't even tell you the last time I think I've played Hut Champs and played all 20 games. I think I've just stopped at 5 most recently. With all that being said, you know, there's a probably better way that you could think of out there that would really be a good idea. Chris, you got any good ideas that could possibly make the ranking system even better?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as we know, as we NHL gamers know, there are a lot of people that dodge in Hut Champs every weekend. I don't experience it because I'm not a good player. Josh wouldn't experience it either because he's not a top-tier player. But you do see top-tier content creators and players that do stream experiencing dodgers every weekend. And sometimes they're players who they know they're going to lose, and other times, you know, it's guys that will still, like, I'll use Nuge as an example. Some people back out on Nuge because they know they're not going to beat him, and that's going to ruin their chance to finish higher in the rankings. And those people end up with more wins. So if you're a top-tier player and you're playing, you know, a bunch of top guys, Josh Fearless, HK, Nuge, for example, and you're losing to these guys, you're not going to be able to finish as high. But if you're out there playing scrubs like Timmy Trampoline and Danny Donut 69, like, you're going to come up with more wins. So I think the fairest, or the most fair way to do it would be to rank it off of wins. So it'd be how you are now, but instead of losing ranks for not winning an amount of games, you would be able to stay at that rank. So, as we know in NHL, there's the point system. So if you beat a top player, you're going to gain more skill points. And if you're beating Timmy Trampoline, you're going to not gain as many skill points. So, as I mentioned, if you beat top players, you would have more points. If you beat lower players, you would have less points. But to just simplify the tiers, like I said, most weekends there are guys with 14 wins sneaking into the top 100, but I think it'd be easiest to simplify kind of based on wins. Now, there's not enough games to have a bunch of tiers, so I broke it down as follows. I said Gold 1, that would be the top tier, and those would be for the guys that won 19 or 20 games. Gold 2 would be 17 or 18. Gold 3 would be 15 or 16, so you'd need at least 15 wins to get into the Gold tier. Then you get into Silver 1, which could be 13 to 14 wins. Silver 2 could be 11 to 12. Silver 3 could be 9 to 10 wins. So you need 9 wins to get into Silver. And then you go down to Bronze. These are the guys that are going to struggle a little bit more to get their wins. But Bronze 1 could be 6 to 8 wins. Bronze 2 could be 3 to 5. And then Bronze 3 could be 0 to 2 wins. I don't mind the system where you have to play 5 games to be ranked at all. If you're going to spend your time and redeem all your Hut Champs points to play Champs, not that you should be forced to play those 5 games, but you should want to play at least those 5 games to be ranked on the leaderboards. So that way, if you go 5-0, you can get in a Bronze 2, or if you go 0-5, you can still be in Bronze 3, but you'd still get some sort of reward for finishing in that last tier, which I think is critical, because if you continue to get dominated, if Danny Donuts qualifies for Hut Champs 4 times throughout the year and doesn't get anything in his packs, he's not going to play Hut Champs the next year. He might not even buy NHL the next year. So I think increasing the rewards is the best way to keep your player base on the game and to keep them playing Hut Champs, which, again, is the best way to keep your player base.
Yeah, and like you said, we need to have improved rewards to make those, 6 game modes on NHL or those 4 game modes on FIFA. We have to have those, we have to make the effort put in, get something back out of it as far as rewards. Now, you can give us whatever packs you want. There's always that chance that you can get a good player that could be worth a bunch of coins, right? You could get those top players in the game that you could sell for a ton of coins, which would make it worth it. But you look at FIFA, right? We talked about the amount of coins you get per rank, and even getting, so pretend you're in Bronze 3, right? This new future system, Bronze 3. Right now in FIFA, you'd get 1,000 coins, you'd get 2 gold packs, and you'd get 250 championships points towards your championship. But relating that to NHL, right? You could give a couple thousand coins, a couple of lower tier crap packs, because as we know in NHL right now, you don't pack anything. But there's always a chance that you could, right? So getting Bronze 3 and getting only 1 or 2 wins in that season would still be worth it, right? You still have that chance of getting something good. But when you grind out and get up to those higher tier levels, that top 100, that future gold 1, that possible 2019 wins, whatever it may be, and you get up to those really good tiers and you play a lot and you put a ton of work in and have the best team out there and get all this stuff, and you get 125,000 coins with a Team of the Week pack and a couple other packs and some 4 other different types of packs, plus you get more championship points, it's going to make it worth it. It's going to make you want to play the game more. Like Chris said, if you get consistently in that bronze rank, you only get a couple of wins per weekend, and you get nothing in your packs with no coins or nothing to really show for it, and you get nothing, you're not going to want to play, right? That's the kind of whole debate of casual versus competitive players, and you got to help your casual players stay on your game, like Chris said. And when you keep those casual players on the game, you keep players on your game. So you got to improve rewards, you got to add more stuff to work for, and you got to match the effort with the rewards you get back out.
Exactly. I mean, the coins in FIFA are the key here. That's the key difference in the rewards between FIFA / FUT and NHL and HUT. Because as we discussed, if you finish Elite 1, and in that Jumbo Rare Players Pack, the best pull is an 85, and that's not going to make your team at this point in the year. Again, I don't really play FIFA, so I don't know, but in NHL, an 85 isn't going to make your team at this point in the year. So if you finish Elite 1 and you pull an 85, you might be a little bit upset, but you can use that 125,000 coins to go improve your team. You're going to be able to sell that 85 overall to somebody who needs it to get more coins to improve your team. Hut Champs is different. If you don't pull anything in those packs, you're screwed. You played all weekend for nothing. Because if I finish Silver 3 and in my one Premium Gold Players Pack, I pull a 95, guess what? My rewards in Silver 3 were all of a sudden better than your rewards in Elite 1 without the coin differential. So the coins give at least make it even, or do at least make it even, between the Silver 3 reward possibilities and the Elite 1 reward possibilities. Because if I grind the game and I pull nothing in my packs, I'm going to be discouraged to continue playing, because what's the point? Yes, I enjoy the game, but I'm not going to have the incentive to continue playing. So while I still enjoy NHL, and I'm one of a rare case because I really only play NHL, unfortunately, RIP my soul, I'm going to continue coming back to the game. But if there's a casual player who's not playing anything on NHL, but then they can play the same mode in FIFA, and maybe they are pulling stuff, guess what? When their mom says, "Okay, Timmy, what game do you want this year?" they're going to say FIFA, not NHL. And that's the huge key. So I think adding coins and adding some more packs to the rewards in NHL would highly incentivize players to play the game mode more. And I mean, just one more thought here. In Rivals, in Hockey Ultimate Team, I don't mind the system they have. You know, you get one of these packs and it's tradable. You get two of these packs but they're untradeable, or you can just take the coins. I really don't mind that system. You know, I've been taking untradeable rewards all year to try to build up icons and build Mario and Gretzky and all these guys. But, you know, if you're somebody who prefers not to play with older players, or maybe, you know, whatever, you kind of risk it by taking half the packs, but you're able to sell those packs, whereas I can make the collectibles to make untradeable players with my untradeable cards. So I don't mind that system, but I just think they need to add more to incentivize people playing. And sorry, one more thing that I thought of. Pack odds. The fact that it is, you know, if you watch Twitch at all, it's 1st July. For anybody else with a normal calendar, it's May. But if you look at the pack probabilities, there's the 60K pack in the store right now as we're recording. You're guaranteed to get 80 overall players. There's a 32% chance you get an 86 overall player. The last probabilities, it says were updated as of the end of February. So, I mean, we're in July. That's like 17 months ago. So the fact that these pack odds don't increase throughout the year are kind of mind-blowing, you know? This year is a rare case with obviously everything going on in the world, but even at a normal time, we're in May, it'd be playoff time right now. The game is dying down a little bit as we, you know, work our way through the Stanley Cup playoffs each year. Why not release more cards, increase the pack odds, let people have fun playing their favorite game over the summer, as opposed to continuing to pull an 87 McDavid with that damn purple animation and, you know, getting excited for nothing in July.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, obviously, usually it'd be Stanley Cup time, there'd be more Stanley Cup packs out and Stanley Cup players and everything, but obviously we know everything's going on in the world right now. But, yeah, 100% agree. I was actually going to mention on the pack odds as well, but you pretty much hit every point I was going to make. But unless you got anything else, Chris, I think we're going to wrap this one up.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, just kind of, I hope that going forward, and obviously we can make more videos to talk about different specific things, but I hope going forward that Hockey Ultimate Team and the EA NHL team narrow down the game modes, make better rewards for each of them, and, you know, really increase interest in the game, because you want to grow the community. The NHL community is growing on Twitch and YouTube. Esports is taking a step ahead. There's now a handful of NHL teams entering the esports scenes, whether it's with signing players or just making a Twitch channel. There's big stuff happening in NHL, and if anything, I feel like a Call of Duty fan, it's the developer that's holding us back at this point. So rewards, yes, they need to be better. But to get off on a tangent at the end there, I hope that the EA NHL team can continue to receive some constructive feedback. That's the key word there for all you noobs. Constructive feedback. Don't just say this game sucks. Tell me why it sucks. You know, I hope that with the constructive feedback the EA NHL gets from the community, you know, we can make the game itself and the NHL community that much better of a place going forward.
Yeah, I could not have said that better myself. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Chris, thank you, as always, for coming on. This will not be the last time, and hopefully a lot sooner of a time going forward that you'll be back on the channel. For now, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up here. If you did enjoy, hit the like button down below. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And as always, guys, we'll see you next time.